This machine here is called a belt sander. We can use it for shaping material, or we can use it for trimming up the end grain of a bit of wood. Okay. The reason we use it on the end grain is it's very difficult to file and plane that without it splitting. So we can use this machine here, which is the belt sander. Now the belt sander, it moves around, and how it works is there's a machine or a motor, and it pushes around this belt, hence it's called a belt sander, okay, of sandpaper, and it moves around and it saves you actually physically sanding it by hand. It's very rough, so it takes off quite a lot of material quite quickly, right? It's got a bed, and it's important that when you use the belt sander, the bit of material is kept in contact with the bed all the time. You don't want it up like this, or you're going to make sure the end isn't square, or it becomes dangerous. You should never be sanding it like this. You should make sure when you're sanding, the bit of material is on the bed. Before we do any sanding, it's important we check the machine is set up properly. So, to set up the machine, first thing is, on this machine we've got, you can set this bed at different angles. So if I wanted to put a little chamfer on this bit of material, which I might do later on, I can take this bed and I can change the angle and I can create a chamfer. At the moment, I would like it to be at 90 degrees. The problem is that the gauge here isn't always accurate. So before you use it, good practice is to make sure the table's at 90 degrees. We can take a square, so it's actually an engineer's square, take a small square, and I'm going to pop it on here, and I'm just going to check that the angle between this bit is at 90 degrees. If it's not at 90 degrees and there's a little gap and we can see fresh air through there, we can adjust it by pressing this button or twisting this button, and we can adjust the angle of the table. At the moment, it's at 90 degrees, we're all happy. Okay, so I've checked the table is at 90 degrees. The next thing I'd like to check before I pop this on is I need to make sure the guard is nice and low. If I start using it just now, there's a good chance that my hands could bump into the sandpaper that's spinning around it, take my knuckles off, which wouldn't be very nice. So I'm just going to lower the guard. And what it's meant to be is it's meant to be around about 10 millimeters or a centimetre above the work. Okay, that means it's safe. We can lock it in place, and it's highly unlikely my fingers are going to slip in, okay? But I can also see the line that I'm sanding to, which is quite important. To use it, we simply switch it on. Green button. Sandpaper is now spinning round, keeping the material on the bed at all times. Gently press it in, and I'm not going to press it nice and hard. I'm going to do it a little bit at a time. And we can use that, and we can just sand it down to the line and no more, nice and accurate. If I want to change the angle of this bed, because I wanted to put a chamfer on this, well, we can change the angle by taking this lever here, and I'm going to loosen it off, and then we can use the scale. You see the scale here, and it takes all the way around to different degrees. So there's got 10 degrees, 20, 30, 40. I'll take it down to right around to 45 degrees, which is a true chamfer, and I'm just going to lock that in place. And then before I switch on it, make sure that's nice and level and it's not going to move, the bed's nice and secure. Again, I've got to lower the guard. Down, so again, we should have it so it's nice and low, so there's just enough room for the material to go in. And then it's just the same as when you're using it when it's flat. Switch it on. Keep it nice and secure. Press it up. Don't lift up like that, or you're going to get the wrong angle. On the bed at all times. And we're just going to gently use that to sand down and create our chamfer. You'll see I'm going at little pulsing movements. So I'm taking a little bit off a time. And I'm working down to the line that I've marked on my material. And I've created my little chamfer all nice and neat. We're happy by adjusting the bed of the belt sander.